Dear all, in our previous lecture, we had seen what design functions are and the different classifications of design functions, and also we saw an introduction to generating design alternatives. What design alternatives are? Design alternatives means the different design solutions that are available in a design space. Now, in today's lecture, you will see the different methods by which we can generate design alternatives, and finally after we get the different solutions, we need to finalize one of the solution. So we cannot go ahead with all the solutions, so we evaluate these possible design solutions and then select the best possible solution from among these set of solutions. So we select one solution and then we finalize that solution. That is known as finalizing the design. So what are the different methods to generate alternate designs or alternate design solutions? Let us see. The first method is by creating a morphological chart, also commonly known as a morph chart. Morphological chart is actually a table. It is actually a matrix form with rows and columns, and it shows on the leftmost column, it will list all the functions needed in that design and the features that it should have, and on the right hand side, for each of these functions, the different methods by which these functions can be achieved is mentioned. So we have the functions on the left hand side, and to the right hand side, for each of these functions we have different means or methods by which it can be achieved. And while listing the functions, we should be very careful that the functionalities or the functions listed should be as per the requirement from the customer. So we can have additional features or functions also, but the main functionalities that the customer has demanded should be there or should be listed in that morphological chart. We should not omit that requirement. And once we list all these functions and the different methods by which these functions can be achieved, then we start to look for feasible design solutions, feasible or any possible combinations that will make the design workable. This is an example of a juice container design. The functions of the container are listed here. These functions should be satisfied by the container. It should contain the liquid, that is the juice. Fill and seal the container. It should be sealed. Empty the container. How to empty the container? And this is the method by which we can fill and seal or close the container. How to resist the forces that are acting during its operation. And how do we identify the product? What are the characteristics used for identifying that product? All these are the different functions. Now we have the different means for each of these listed here. Possible means: contain liquid. So what type of container should be used? Either we can use a can type or a bottle type or a paper bag or a plastic bag type or even a box type. So these are the possible solutions or the possible means by which we can define this function. Then filling and sealing the container. How to do that? Fill and heat seal can be used, or a sealed cap, or a glue container material, twist top, bottle cap. So all these are the options that are or that can be done for filling and sealing the container. Then emptying the container. How to empty the container? We can have a pull tab, a pulling option where all the juice will be or the liquid will be drained. Inserted straw can be used. Again, twist top, tear corner, and so many options are there. Similarly, for resisting forces, we can use thick-walled metal or material for making that design. And we can use either flexible materials which can resist the forces. Then how to identify the product? By either shape of container or using label or color, etc. So these are the different options. To the right hand side you can see, and these are the different functions that the juice container should make use of. So this column and row combination, this table is called a matrix, and this matrix we call that as a morphological chart. So by looking in this, an experienced designer can use. So you have different functions and means, and this table is called as a morphological chart. So this is actually a matrix table. A matrix means a combination of rows and columns, and in each of these rows you have listed the functions, and in columns you will be listing the different means of achieving this function. So now let us look at how the different design solutions or alternative designs can be created from a morphological chart. These are two different designs which are available. First one shows a feasible solution, and the second one shows a infeasible set of solutions. Feasible solutions means solutions which are workable or which we can continue to design so that it will be workable. Infeasible means the solution will not work, so there is no point in continuing with infeasible solutions. So here the different options are shaded as a light gray and dark gray. Dark gray here represents a most feasible solution, and light gray indicates the second best feasible solution. So by looking at this morphological table or morphological chart, we can identify which all are the different combinations that are feasible, which is the best feasible combination and which is the second best feasible combination, and so on. So we are able to generate multiple design solutions, combinations. And similarly in infeasible solutions, again we are able to identify which combinations will not work. So feasible and infeasible design combinations can be found out from morph chart or morphological chart. So it is an important method to generate alternate designs. Now the second method, and a very common method, is to use analogies. Analogies are actually similarities. If you compare one object or one method with another, then we call that as an analogy. For example, if you are considering nature, there are a lot of things in nature that we can identify, and lot of characteristics in nature which we can use for solving problems or for making products, etc. So if you are making use of such principles, if you are borrowing the principles from something, then we call that as an analogy. For example, consider the different types of analogies. So let us see what are the different types of analogy. First one is direct analogy. In direct analogy, it is very commonly used by the designers, and they look for similarity in physical behavior and geometric similarity like size, shape, etc., and similarities in functions. So as we mentioned earlier, if we are looking at nature, if we are closely observing nature, then there are many things in nature that can be adopted for solving problems or for making products, etc. One such design is, you can see some of the designs or some of the concepts being used or borrowed from nature. First one is a type of seed. When it falls from the tree, it will rotate and it will undergo a rotational motion, a very harmonic motion, and it will fall on the ground very gently. So in order to prevent the damage of the seed from being falling down, and also to move this seed at a particular distance from the parent plant, nature has provided such a design to that seed, so that it will fly, it will rotate, and it will move away and land on the ground. Similarly, for such leaves, very commonly found in our state, you can see that you might have observed that when water falls on this leaf, it will not stick, it will just be like a droplet, and if we tilt this leaf, it will just fall down. So it has a wax-like coating on its surface, and the same principle is used for making umbrellas. And we also have certain plants called RTM plants. So these plants are very important because the design of these plants were considered for making a very useful, very commonly used product known as Velcro. So Velcro is actually the component which is used for sticking in the sense for securing the footwear or the shoes or bags, belts, etc. So you can see two sticking surfaces when you observe a footwear or a bag, and this sticking surface is made by means of a product called Velcro. Velcro is actually made by one particular company. It comes as a roll, it comes in a group, and it comes as a bulk. So actually it is sold as a bulk quantity material, and manufacturers of footwear or bags or belts or other products, they buy Velcro in required quantities and they cut it into required dimensions, and then they use it in their products. So such that product was inspired from the design of the RTM plants. So similarly, many such designs from nature have been adopted and made into very commonly used products, very important products. So that is known as direct analogy. Next we have the fantasy analogy, where the designer will think very creatively, will imagine very wildly, and he won't be bothered about the problems or limitations of nature or any laws of nature. So he is given full freedom to fantasize, to think very creatively, and he will come up with many solutions. Some of the solutions will be workable and some of the solutions will not be workable. It is based on the imagination of the designer. So a lot of ideas can be generated by using such an analogy technique. For example, locating a car in a large car parking lot. For example, you have parked your car in a very large parking lot, and after you reach the parking lot, you are unable to identify the position where your car is. So in such situations, if you make use of such imaginative thinking techniques, many ideas can be generated. Like if you press a switch, then you will be automatically taken to your car, or your car will automatically drive and come towards you, and some such type of solutions you can find out when you are imagining very creatively, without constrained without any constraints or without any boundaries. So fantasy analogy is a very useful technique for generating a many number of ideas. Then next type of analogy is personal analogy. Personal analogy means you are thinking of the design of a product as a part of your body. The designer imagines themselves as the device being designed. For example, if you are holding a cup in your hand like this, so here you can see what the designer has done. There is a provision for keeping your fingers into the cup. So for such designs, creative designs, the designer has to think that the cup is a part of your body, or you are a part of the cup, and such designs will be made accordingly. So that is known as personal analogy. Next is symbolic analogy, where the designer will make use of certain symbols and uses these symbols with the other aspects of the problem to get solutions to this problem. Like there are many mathematical methods like Laplace transformation, differential equations, graphical methods, etc. So such a type of analogies or similarities are called as symbolic analogy, and it is not very commonly used because it involves a lot of calculations and much experience is needed on the part of the designer. So the specification of the problem, the engineering aspects or the functionalities of the problems are replaced with the symbols or equations, and these equations are solved to get the solution. The next method of generating alternate designs is actually a very interesting method. It is a collective method of generating ideas. So in this 635 method, the method is called as 635 method. A team of 6 members or 6 people will be sitting in a round table or in a conference room, and they will be and each of them will be asked to write down 3 design concepts of a particular design problem. So they will be given a design problem and they will be asked to write down 3 different concepts of that design problem, and they will be given 5 minutes to write down these 3 design concepts. So concepts means they can write it as small words, very small sentences, or they can even draw the design concepts. After 5 minutes, the first round is completed and the concepts are passed on to the next person sitting onto the right hand side, and this procedure will continue. So after the 6 rounds are completed, that means Once the person gets back the concepts that he has written, 6 rounds will be completed by them. So after completing these 6 rounds, a large number of concepts would have been generated in that or for that design problem. So that is 635 method. So they write down 3 design ideas in 5 minutes, and each of the list makes a complete circuit around the table, and after 6 rounds the method is completed and we get a total of 108 ideas or 108 design concepts, and it is generated in 30 minutes because 6 rounds are there and each round lasts for 5 minutes. So around 30 minutes the process will be completed and we get such a number of large ideas. And finally the team will discuss on all these ideas, 108 ideas, which of these are workable or feasible, which of these are infeasible, and which of them can be improved further. All those evaluation will be made for these ideas and it will be recorded in a document. So that is known as 635 method. So it is actually a collective idea generation technique. Then we have the C-sketch method, which is again very similar to the 635 method. Here the designer will be asked, again the designers will be sitting together as a team, and one of the designers will be asked to write down or to draw the design concept. In earlier method the designer was free to either write down or draw, but in this the designer has to only draw the concept, and after drawing the concept the designer will pass his sketch to the next person or the next designer, and the next designer will add his or her concept to the existing design. After that is completed, the design is again passed on to the next person, and the third person will again add his or her concept to the existing design, and this cycle will continue. And finally, when the design or the sketch has passed to all the designers, the final sketch will contain a lot of design concepts being added to the initial design. So that is known as C-sketch method. Starts with a team. They sit around a table similar to the 635 method, and one design idea is sketched on a piece of paper. This piece of paper is circulated to each of the members of the team. The only permissible communication is by pencil on paper. So they are not allowed to talk with each other. Even in 635 method also they are not allowed to talk. They are only permitted to write down or to draw. Discussion follows only after a complete cycle of sketching and modifying is completed. Similar to 635 method, once this is completed, the entire team will discuss on the final design concepts. Each of the concepts that each person has added, all this will be discussed, and the feasible and infeasible solutions will be found out and taken for further improvement. C-sketch method is actually very useful in mechanical design, usually because sketching is most commonly used for mechanical design purposes. It is used for other design also, but commonly used for mechanical design. So the C-sketch method is found to be more useful than the 635 method because the graphics or the pictorial representation can convey a lot more meaning than the verbal communication or written communication. So that is why a graphical method is given more importance. Then we have the gallery method where each of the designers are given or are allowed to write down their own design concepts in a piece of paper or a post-it note, and all these design concepts are collected from the design team or the different designers. All these are collected and they are sticked onto a whiteboard or a blackboard. So they are, or like you can see in the figure, they are sticked onto a board so that the entire team can see what each of the designer or each of the person has written on the concepts. So after this, again discussions will be made or discussions will be done on the different design concepts mentioned by each of the designers, and they will discuss in detail again which can be workable and which of them cannot be a workable idea. So that is known as gallery method. So all the sketches are posted on a board or cork board in a conference room, and they discuss on what all design concepts have been mentioned. Questions are asked, critiques are offered. Critiques means how the questioning, how it can be workable. All these are critiques. Suggestions are made, and after all this is completed, after all the suggestions are made, then each participant is returned the paper. So each of this paper belongs to each of the participants or the designers. The designer will, after discussion, the designer will take back this paper, and he might have noted down all the suggestions and the questions and the different critics, and after incorporating all these suggestions and the different things that were discussed, then he will again return with the improved idea, that is known as second generation idea. So first he will write down an idea, he will post it, and after discussion the suggestions will be incorporated in that design, and then a new idea will be made, and this will continue. This is an iterative process, a cycle. This will continue until the team feels that more improvements in the design cannot be made. Until then, this process will continue. So it is a time consuming process. Once the design has all the suggestions incorporated in it, then further improvements is not possible, and then that design process will, the gallery method will stop. So that were the different methods to generate alternative designs. So alternative designs or alternate designs means developing different workable design solutions. After we have generated a number of design solutions, now we should finalize one or two design solutions. We cannot proceed with all the workable solutions. We should identify which of these solutions are most workable, most profitable, and the most best fit solution, and we'll identify that solution and we'll finalize on that solution. So that is known as finalizing the design. Finalizing the design is done by different various methods. First is by absolute criteria. So in absolute criteria, we evaluate the feasibility of the design process, whether we consider all the design alternatives, we consider all the parameters and conditions, and then we check whether the design concept or the design solution is a workable design or not, whether it is a feasible solution, whether it is a conditional solution. Conditional means it may seem to work at first, but when we do a more detailed investigation, much more difficulties will be arised, and it may seem to or it may seem difficult to implement that solution. That is known as conditional. So it depends on the design team whether to take that design or whether to reject that design. The decision will be made only after carefully analyzing such design concepts. That is known as conditional design. Infeasible design means the designs which will not work even if major changes are made in that design. So there is no use of considering further any infeasible designs because it will not work. And we also conduct an evaluation on the technology readiness of the industry or the company which is making that product. So whenever we are moving ahead with the design, we also need to ensure that the technology is available for making that particular design. If there is no technology in making that design, if the technology is not available, then there is no point in continuing with that design. Also, if there are methods by which we can create that technology, suppose the technology is not available with us, but we can create that technology by using our resources, then also we can consider we can go ahead with the design. But if the case is such that in any way we cannot access or if we are not able to get hold of that technology, then there is no point in continuing with the design. We should drop it there. So that is one criteria of finalizing the design, whether the technology is available and whether the design is feasible or not. The second method of finalizing design is by doing an evaluation called as go or no go screening. So go or no go screening is actually we list all the customer requirements and we answer these customer requirements. The customer requirements are made into questions. For each of the requirements of the customer, one particular question will be made, whether the product is satisfying this requirement. If the answer is yes, then it is a go, and if the answer is no, it means that the requirement is not met, so it is a no go. So no go means the design is rejected because it is not satisfying the customer requirement. So as we told, customer requirement is the foundation, it is a basis for product development. If there is no customer requirement, then there is no product. So customer requirements need to be met by the product very carefully. If some of the customer requirements are not met, then there is a chance of the customer not being satisfied with the product and a lot of resource wastages can occur. So such requirements are carefully screened by looking at the answers to these questions, whether it is a yes or it is a no. So that is evaluation on go or no go screening. Then third design finalizing method is PUG concept selection method. So in PUG concept selection method, we do a relative comparison with a reference concept. So there will be one standard concept or a design solution. So we will check the design solutions which we got. In the previous step, we got many different design solutions. We check each of these solutions with the standard solution and we check which one is better or not. That is known as PUG concept selection method. So PUG concept selection method follows a sequence of steps. Here we evaluate the different concepts by the criteria. and then we formulate a table known as a decision matrix. Then the design concepts are clarified, and from the different design concepts we select one standard concept, or we select one concept as the standard concept. So we have a multiple number of design concepts or design solutions. We select one of these design concepts as the datum concept or the standard concept. Then we do the solution, or we try to solve the matrix or run the matrix and evaluate the solution that we obtained. Again we choose another design concept as the new datum concept, and then we compare the design concepts with the new datum concept. So this will be a cycle, this will be an iterative process, and after all the comparisons are completed we come up with the final design. For example, this table will make things very clear to you. Suppose we have a large number of design solutions or design concepts. Here you can see 6 design concepts, and different criteria is being listed for the product. So one of the concept we fix it as the standard concept or the datum concept. So this is a standard concept now, and we denote it by S. So all the criteria is being met by this design concept, and we write it as S. S means standard. So this is the standard now. Now what we do is we compare the other design concepts with this standard concept and check whether other concepts are improved than this standard concept for each of the criteria, or whether it is not, or whether it is inferior to this concept for these particular criteria. For example, we are considering design concept B. For the first criteria, when we compare design concept B with design concept A, the first criteria is improved for design concept B. So the design concept B shows more improved criteria, shows more improved results for criteria 1. So we put a plus sign. Plus shows it is a further improvement from the standard value. Now we consider design concept C with the criteria 1. So S means again it is the same, it is again similar to the standard. Both A and C are similar as far as criteria 1 is concerned, so we put yes. Now we consider design concept D with the design concept A, the standard criteria. Again concept D shows more improvement for the first criteria, so we put a plus sign. Then design concept BC, we compare that with A, it is again a further improvement, so we put it as plus. And similarly for BD. So for the first criteria, all the other concepts except concept C, the other concepts B, D, BC and BD, they are showing more improvement than design concept A for the first criteria. Now coming to the second criteria, similarly the design concept B, when you are comparing with A, it is inferior, it is lower for the criteria 2, so we put a minus sign. Then we compare design concept C with A and D with A and so on. So we fill this table or fill this matrix with a plus sign or minus sign or yes after comparing it. Then we add the total number of plus signs and total number of minus signs, and we calculate the total score for each of these design criteria. First one concept, since it is a standard, it is 0. For the second concept, you add the number of plus signs 1, 2, 3. So the total plus signs is 3. Add the number of minus 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So the number of minus sign is 5. So plus sign is 3, minus is 5. So 3 minus 5, that is minus 2, is the total score. Similarly, you add the number of plus signs and number of minus signs, you calculate the total score. And for all the design concepts, you will be calculating the total plus sign, the total minus sign and the total score. From this, you can identify which is the best design solution. The total score is highest for the two concepts BC and BD. Plus signs are more for 7, for concept BD, that is 7. Minus signs you have 2, so it is 5. Here you have 5 plus signs and 0 minus signs. So even though these two are equal, the design BC is more superior because it does not have any negative sign. So this is one round completed. Again, in the next round, we keep the next design concept as the standard concept. So this time, in the second round, design concept B will be kept as the standard and yes will be marked here. Every criteria will be marked as yes. Then we try to compare criteria with B, C with B, D with B, BC with B and BD with B. And we list down the plus sign or minus sign or the yes value. Then we calculate the total scores. Then in the third round, design concept C will be kept as the standard and other concepts will be compared with concept C. So similarly, all the design concepts will be kept as standard. So this iteration will continue for 6 rounds, and for all the 6 rounds the scores will be available to us and we can identify which is the best design solution. So we can also neglect the least values or the least concepts at each of these rounds. So finally, so all these are done using computer programs. It will be automatically done. Calculation will be made within a few minutes or maybe within 1 or 2 hours. You will be getting the best combination. So this is one method by which we can finalize the design concept. We have multiple design concepts. Which is the best design concept we can finalize by making use of PUG concept selection. This is yet another similar example where the criteria is mentioned for the product: cost, comfort, weight, aesthetics, availability, etc. Again the same thing, calculating the plus and minus sign, and at each time we'll be keeping different concepts as the standard or the datum concept, and finally we'll be calculating the scores. So the concept with the highest score from all the rounds will be the best concept. So with that we come to the end of this lecture.